Hi, Joshua coming to you from here in Mission. It's around 5 o'clock, the 10th of January. Time is going by, and I was hoping to have the relocation platform model complete at this time. It'll take me a couple of days to fully complete it. But as you see, I'm just working on the last couple of sections. This is what it actually looks like if you take off the top. This is the base with all the internal components. And as you can see, I guess this would be the easiest here, is your smaller hexes. They actually make up your tabs. There's 3 tabs that go into each. And then you have like 2 half hex, or like a hex that's kind of offset. And that kind of makes up your interlock. And by making up what I have so far, I've learned that it's very important when you're marking out your plywood to make sure that your template is perfectly accurate, and to have a nice sharp pen and cut right to the edge of your pen mark, or the mistake's going to catch you. And the other thing that I found in the assembly, these are actually the 2 tops that are yet to be glued on. I haven't used no screws or nails to this point. But anyway, just want to give you a little demonstration of what I have. And so I'm just going to use the 3 platforms that I have to put together an H3 at this time, 3 hexagonals. As you can see, this, as in the first video there, I showed you what this is going to look like. This is your leg that screws into the bottom. The actual leg in the full scale will actually have some kind of a plate with a hub assembly that'll be recessed, hopefully to make it flush to the surface of the bottom, and to where you could screw your pipe right into the hub, and maybe have another hub that's kind of offset ways from the pipe that you could actually use to for a press to put some beamwork in between, because I find that in between your locks, this is your weak spot. So if you had two of these linked together, if you step here and if the foot kicks out, it's actually going to add stress here, and it could crack one of your tabs. If I actually did crack one of these tabs off, I'm going to have to dig it out. And another thing that I found, besides having your templates perfectly cut out, when you're using a router, you won't have the same problem as you do with cutting them out by hand using a jigsaw. And one of the other things to look for is that when you're assembling your top to your bottom, you want to make sure that they're perfectly parallel. So you're going to need some kind of jig, some kind of fingers on 3 sides to position the top to the bottom. That's really critical. Otherwise, you're going to end up cutting off the excess and trimming. And the third thing that I found out, where your secondary locks here, where they actually fit together, you actually want to take this here, and so you take a hex and you cut it in half to make 2 half hexes. You actually want to take a router and maybe router and overlap on both your hexes, so it kind of pulls it in, right? And when it's pulled in, it'll actually leave, because that's the way it would look on the inside, right? It'll actually leave pull it away from the hexagonal locks. You want about a 1/4 inch gap, like on the full scale. Here maybe 1/8 of an inch. So when your locks go together, it doesn't interfere with this here, because this would be shrunken down. So that's probably your most critical thing to look for, apart from physically cutting your material and trying to get them where they're parallel. So your locks need to be shrunken down in the center. Just, you know, take out a little strip using a router just to make like an overlap fitting. Okay, I'm going to get this done real quick. And this is number 3. I want to actually take all these off. Try to get this done in this one video here. Set this apart. I'm actually using this as a stand. This is the one of my first attempts at making a cardboard model here, or a balsa wood model, one back about 6 months ago. I'm just going to use this as a stand right now. Set this here. Get the right components, matching pieces. We got 3 and 3. So we'll just slide them together like this. What we're going to do, don't fit perfectly tight, but close. So at this point we're going to screw the other leg in here. One leg, 2 legs. Now we need number 1 and 2. 1 and 2. We will need 3 hands. Here we go. The full scale will be a little bit easier. But what happens, even if your seams are fairly tight, you're still going to get a little gap in the center. We'll add our 3rd leg. But the construction itself is fairly sound. And as I was saying, what I like to do is put an expanded hub out here and take a piece of 2x4. So the 2x4 would actually be suspended between this leg and this leg. So to actually help in the transfer of your weight. And what this would do, if you wanted to use the floor for a ceiling, you could actually remove your legs, support it from the outside, and this should give you a free span. See if this hits here. There you have it. So this would be what you would call an H3. And these are your little triangle pieces that would actually fit in once they're complete to fulfill your hexagonal design. Whoop. This one here. So that's the next step, is to finish off the triangles and the 2 hexes, and should be able to make an H7. So one H7 will actually break down into 2 H3s. This would actually be like an 8-foot diameter from here to here on the H3. So if you have an H7, you could actually use the remaining platforms to make your ceiling and put your extension poles up. So you could turn it into a 2-story. It's a work in progress, but it's making progress here. Okay, I'm going to cut it here.